Hey friends, today we're going to put the brand new Jackery SG HomePower 3000 to the test.
What can it power? How long can it last? And could it possibly work as an essential home backup solution during an emergency?
Let's find out.
Now this video is sponsored by our friends at Jackery, but that doesn't mean that we're going to go easy on them.
Nope, we're going to plug everything we possibly can on the homestead into this new HomePower 3000. We're going to catalog the results. This is going to be fun. We'll get nerdy on all the specs of this unit here in a minute, but for now, what you need to know is that this box holds a full 3 kilowatt hours of lithium iron phosphate batteries, a 3600 watt inverter, plenty of USB charging ports, and even a 20 millisecond UPS function. The size and weight alone for this much storage is super impressive.
We actually took this unit to Kanab, Utah for the Double Dome workshop, which is why it looks a little beat up because it was used constantly. We were charging phones, we were charging camera gear, saws. We were running saws off this.
Yeah, we also, the mixers, when we actually built the domes, it got used a ton, and its battery was so big that we only had to charge it every couple of days. It was pretty cool. So we kind of know how this is going to work. We have a good idea of how it's going to perform, but we're going to start with what we might want to power most during an emergency. All right, so the first thing we're going to test for an emergency situation is deep freeze. We've got a bunch of food in there. We don't want it to go bad. So let's see how much power it uses and how long this could actually run it for. So at a pretty high startup of almost 1,000 watts, but immediately went down to about 66 watts, which means this thing could run that for 30 hours. It's a pretty long time. And also, it's a deep freeze, it's going to go on and off, so it could actually run it for a couple of days probably as this compressor cycled on and off. So this is a really great backup solution for keeping your food cold. So while we're here, we're going to try the UPS function. Sorry, it's a little windy. It's kind of like we're in an emergency, right? So the way the UPS function works is I have the Jackery actually charging through our big power system, and then I have the freezer connected directly to it. So right now, it's powering from the AC. It's passing through, right? When I unplug this, we're going to keep an eye on the light in this freezer and see how long it takes for it to come back on. And we're hoping that it's a very quick flicker. All right, ready? So I'm going to pull this. This lid will stay. Okay, here we go.
Didn't even see it.
That's pretty cool. Next up, refrigerator. Probably more important than the freezer because this is stuff that we get to all the time. So we'll plug this in. It's jumping all over the place. It's already back down at 0 watts. It was at 60, at 200. I would say this is pretty similar to the deep freeze in that you can run it for a couple of days because it's going to cycle on and off. But yeah, it's keeping it cold, keeping it frozen. So run for a really long time. Somebody says that washer and dryer are critical during an emergency, so we're going to give that a shot.
Maybe it's not so critical because it's too hard to get to the plugs.
Those plugs are way back behind this washer and dryer.
It's a whole thing.
I mean, we could take this out and then we could get to it.
Well, because we know what this runs, let's just do the math.
Okay, so we know exactly how much this unit uses because we're powering it from our own bigger off-grid solar system. It uses about 1,500 watts. It does mean you got to run it a little longer, so about 2 hours for a full load. But at 1,500 watts, that means the Jackery would pretty much, that would be it. It would be 3,000 watts total usage. Now for the washer, it uses way less power, and I'll find that number and I'll put it on here. But yeah, this could run for quite a long time. This for only 2 hours.
Well, I don't think we're going to be doing laundry if we're having an emergency.
During the apocalypse, laundry is probably not a priority,
yeah.
But it's good to know that if we really needed some warm, fluffy clothes, we could do it. Hi, Cloud. Excuse me. Excuse me. Gotta work during an emergency, right? Sure you do. We're going to look at computers and internet routers and all that kind of fun stuff. So we're going to test two things here inside the solar shed. The first is our computers, and the second is sort of our whole internet Wi-Fi router system. It's all, the base of it is all powered in here. So start with the computers. We have one MacBook Air, one MacBook Pro with display, and I'm going to unplug that. Actually, hold on, let me make sure I don't have a hard drive plugged in. Yep. Totally did. Okay. All right, here we go. Between both of these computers and the cinema display, we're using about 85 watts, which means this says 25 hours of computer usage, which is a really long time. I would hope I would never use a computer for 25 hours straight. So that means you could use this for a while, right? And once these displays go to sleep and they go into low power mode, they're going to use even less power. Let's see if we can make it do that. All right, now that they're sleeping, they've gone down to about 45 watts. So that's half the usage, which means you're looking at 50 hours. Sorry, gave it a little bit longer. It's down to 20, 30, I don't know, it's kind of going up and down. It got down all the way to 23, which would have been like 75 hours. We're going to split the difference and say we're looking at about 50 to 60 hours for a couple of computers. Now, another thing that you probably want to have working when the power goes out is your internet or some way to connect, let people know what's going on. If you need to research something, if it's broken, having the internet is pretty important. So we have fiber that runs into our property. So we have an ONT box that's powered by this AC system. And then we have a UniFi setup with a gateway and a powered switch, and then an inside Wi-Fi antenna and then an outside Wi-Fi antenna. So we're going to unplug all those, plug them back in, and see how much power they use. We're booting back up. It's going to take a minute. All of our internet stuff is connected. It's only using 25 watts. Pretty low power. So I would say something of this size is kind of overkill for internet backup because it could run it for, it's telling me 75 hours at this point. I would assume that in most situations, your power is going to come back on before then. But just so you know, you can run your internet for a really, really long time. We already mentioned how the HomePower 3000 came with us to Kanab and how it powered a bunch of our stuff. So we're going to recreate that scenario and plug all the things in that you might want to use for a remote project. So if you're remote, there might be a few ways that you would use a system like this. One of the main things that we did on our trip to Kanab was we had to power all of our sort of gear. We were filming and documenting. We had all sorts of batteries and devices that we needed to keep charged up overnight. So yeah, we're going to look at all the different things you can plug in, how long that's going to take. So this has both an AC system and a DC system. So we're going to turn on the DC system. We're going to go ahead and plug in both of these here. And then because I don't want to untangle this mess, I'm just going to plug all this straight into AC connection. So what do we have? We've got our drone batteries. We used the drone a lot when we were shooting. So I'm going to plug that in and that'll start charging. And then we use the GoPro a lot. So I have a little GoPro charger for 3 batteries. We're going to plug that in. I've got some wireless microphones. I charge my phone too because let's face it, we shoot most of our stuff on our phones. We're using a grand total of 20 watts, 21 watts. Hold on, maybe more. Oh, 24. If we're just like charging these types of things up overnight, you can plug a bunch of stuff into this. It's going to charge it up, and you're not going to need to charge the battery and the system back up for like days and days because you're only going to be doing this sort of overnight. There's still plenty more spots I could plug more stuff in. I just can't find anything else. I will say it's a little heavy to lug around all over the place. 60 pounds is kind of awkward, but again, considering it's 3 kilowatt hours, it's not bad. As many of you know, we were building a big Hyper-W roundhouse. We're using mixers quite often, and at the Double Dome Workshop, we were using 2-3 mixers at the same time, and there actually wasn't power run over to that site. So let's see how much a mixer uses and how long we could run it on the HomePower 3000. So, as you saw, this uses about 200 watts. I've clocked it about 250 when it actually has material in it and that the motor's working a little bit harder. If you're like us and you needed to run multiples, you're looking at 500 watts now. And that means that if the Jackery is charged up, it's going to run it for about 6 hours, which is a great work day. But you can also connect solar to it and kind of keep it charged up as you go. I remember when we first started building out here, stuff like this didn't exist. We were using a little Honda 2000 gas generator. That thing was so loud. We had to spend so much money on gas. It was running all the time. And this would have been such a better solution for a remote or off-grid work site. Now, this may not be the only tool or appliance that you would use off-grid. I know a lot of you have battery charge tools. So let's go plug up a bunch of rechargeable batteries and see how it works. Alright, so this is a fast charger right here, and this is a normal charger. So between the two, we're using about 120 watts. So it really just depends on the sizes of your battery and how fast the charger is, of how much power it's going to use. And if you had a couple of these, you could keep your batteries charged up all day, keep switching them out, and the HomePower 3000 would have no problem doing that for an entire workday, especially if you have solar panels. One day during our workshop, the grid power actually did go out to Eric's parents' property, and so we needed to build some forms. Thankfully, we had the 3000 Plus, hooked up a saw to it, and it worked great. So let's go ahead and see how much power a big miter saw like this uses.
$913.
And I don't know if you saw, but when it surged and started up, it was over 2,000 watts. So that's why even if you have a unit that has a certain rating, you want to double check that surge rating to make sure that it can handle that inrush of current during a large motor startup like this. With 3,000 watt hours of storage, you can really start to see just how long this unit can last. It's so much easier than a gas generator. There's no maintenance or refueling. It can stay inside. It's super simple to operate, whisper quiet, and anyone can use it. Jackery's patented zero drain technology means that you can charge up the HomePower 3000, throw it in the closet for a year, and when you pull it back out, it's still going to have 95% of its charge left. It can even function as a UPS or uninterrupted power supply. Plug it into your home outlet, connect your critical loads to the outlets on the front of the unit, and if your grid power goes out, the HomePower 3000 will flip over to its internal battery power in just 20 milliseconds. As far as the ports go, you have a lot of options. On the output side, there's an old-fashioned cigarette lighter, 2 100-watt USB-C ports, 2 18-watt USB-A ports, 4 120-volt 20-amp AC outlets, and 1 120-volt 30-amp outlet. Using these two AC outputs together, you get a total of 7,200 watts of surge power. On the input side, you've got a fast charge AC input and 2 low voltage DC ports that you can connect 2 of the Solar Saga 500Xs or 4 of the Solar Saga 200s. With both AC and DC charging, you can fill up in less than 2 hours. And yes, there is 3 kilowatt hours of lithium iron phosphate storage in this tiny 60-pound enclosure. That's 4,000 cycles at 70% capacity. It's really impressive.
Now you may be thinking, hey, Jonathan and Ashley, you have not really put this thing to the test. Most of what you've plugged in has been pretty small.
Okay, challenge accepted. One of the most important things that you need during an emergency is an in-house barista and an espresso machine. So we enlisted our daughter Adelaide.
causing trouble. Goat milk chai latte? Or just goat milk latte?
I don't know. What do you want in it?
Maple cinnamon goat milk latte.
Okay.
It's using 1300 watts. How many lattes can we make?
Well, you only use it for a few seconds.
I know.
So
do the math.
you could do a lot of lattes. Get it? Lot of lattes. What do we need to go with our maple cinnamon lattes?
Egg bites.
Egg bites. Let's use the Instant Pot. Did you know the egg bites things that you can get at Starbucks, the bacon cheese ones, you can actually get at Costco, and then you can make them yourself. So we're going to air fry some egg bites to have with our drink. Oh, you know what? We got to plug it into the Jackery. Oh no, I don't know what I should cook them at. I forgot to look at the instructions. 400 degrees for 8 to 10 minutes. We'll go 9 and see how it is. I think this is the first time I've actually heard the fan running on the HomePower 3000. That was a good 10 minutes of like 1500 watts. So let's see if our egg bites are done.
Do you want a utensil?
No, I can do it. Oh, got it. So the last thing we're going to try is water transfer. This is a little more critical. Let's say you live off grid, your well goes out, you don't have power, but you need to get water in. You can transfer water into something like a big storage tank here. The Jackery 3000 should do this just fine, but we're going to see how much of the battery it takes to do a full transfer of this 330 gallon IBC tote. We're starting at 88%. Ready? It only took 5% of the battery. So that means that the HomePower 3000 could do this like 20 times. It's a lot of water. What's 20 times 330? 20 times 300 is 6,000? It's a lot of gallons of water that you could transfer.
Well, friends, we hope you've had as much fun as we have had during this experiment.
Big thanks again to Jackery for sponsoring this video. The new SG HomePower 3000 is powerful, easy to use, quiet, and packs some serious storage in a tiny enclosure.
Make sure you check the link in the description for limited time early bird pricing to save on your Jackery today.
Thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you in the next video.